Okay. This is going to be convection. Okay? Convection. The last one was radiation. I may not have written that on the board, but it was radiation. Okay, this is convection. And convection is a way of transferring energy through essentially gases, right? What happens, where is the heater in a house? Where's the heating vent? Is it near the floor or is it near the ceiling?
Floor.
Near the floor, right. And how does the heat get up to the ceiling? Why is the heater at the floor? Why is the heater at the floor? Heat does not rise.
Cool air sinks.
What is the heat rising or is the air rising? The air is rising. And why does the air rise? Why does the air rise? When the air heats up, it does what?
Expand.
It expands. What happens to the density of that expanded hot air? Does it become great or less? It becomes less dense, correct?
Yeah.
So what is less dense? Hot air or cold air?
Hot air.
Hot air. What is the rule? Less dense floats on more dense, or more dense floats on less dense?
Less dense floats on more dense.
Less dense floats on more dense, correct?
Correct.
So let's say we have a column of water. All right? A column of water. Yes, water. H2O. What has less density? Oil or water? What has less density, oil or water?
Oil.
Oil, correct? Okay, now, I have this column of water, okay? Column of water. On the bottom of the column, I'm going to inject oil. What's going to happen to the oil?
Rise.
It'll rise to the top, correct? Does that have anything to do with heat transfer?
No.
No. It's density changes. The liquid with the less density will rise through the liquid with the more density, the higher density, correct? Now, is that a property of heat? Could you shut the door, please? Or is it a property of fluids? It's a property of fluids. In a fluid, the less dense fluid floats on the more dense fluid. And if the less dense fluid is underneath the more dense fluid, the less dense fluid will rise, correct? So the air is heated along the floor, along the baseboards, correct? The air is heated along the baseboards, yes? What happens to the air along the baseboards? Does it become less dense or more dense?
More dense. Less dense.
It becomes less dense. What's going to happen to it as a result of being less dense?
It's going to rise.
It's going to rise. That's convection. The flow of fluids as a result of changes in density. That's how heat is transferred. The less dense fluid is hotter, so it'll go up top. So the hotter fluid will rise. So it's not the heat that's moving, it's the air that's moving, and the heat and the air just happens to be warmer. But it's based on the density of the fluid. You get that? Is that good? Remember, this is the beginning. But first, a bell. Thank you. That reprograms my brain. Every once in a while, I get updated information. Okay, a patch comes through, and it comes through as bells. So I kind of like. Okay, it's completely uploaded. I installed it. Okay, excellent. Now, let's talk about the old days. Big houses, okay, 4 floors. Big Victorian house. Is that okay? Can you picture that? Big house. You know, you've seen a house before.
Yeah.
So a big house. Okay. Well, in the old houses, the old big houses, the windows on the first floor were enormous. They were almost floor to ceiling. Big windows. Correct? Now, they would open this window a certain amount here. Correct? It's cool outside, but the house is warm because during the day it warmed up. Now it's night. How do I cool off a big 4-story house at night? How do I do that? We don't have fans. We don't have electricity. Open a window, 4 floors. I got to cool off 4 floors. How do I do that? No air conditioning, no fans. How do I do that? How do I cool off? I can cool off a 1-story house by cross ventilation. Oh, okay, I can do that. But how do I cool off a 4-story house? They would be uninhabitable. Uninhabitable. And the house would be hotter the higher you went in the house, right? So if it's 4 stories or 3 stories, the top story is really hot, isn't it? How many people have been in your attic at home? Hot or cold in the summer? Hot, unbearably hot, right? Yes? This is how they did it. Are you ready? Very cool. They would put candles. There's a window up on the top floor. This is a very rough drawing, okay? It's not really a house. It's just a representation of one. You okay with that, Mickey?
Yeah.
Excellent. Window up in the attic. They would put candles by that window. What's going to happen to the air by that window? Is it going to heat up or is it going to cool off?
Heat up.
It's going to heat up. Well, the air has nowhere to go but out. So the hot air goes out the window because it's becoming less dense and it's expanding. It only has one way to go. It's going to go out of the house, right? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to have no air in the house? No. You're going to create a vacuum? No. What has to take its place? For the air that leaves, what has to take the place of the air that leaves? Where? The air comes in where? From the bottom floor, right here. So the window is open here. So the hot air leaves here. The cool air comes in here and migrates. It migrates.
That's how you cool it off.
That's how you cool off a big house.
Because the hot air comes out from the top.
Correct. And it pulls in the cold air from the bottom.
Gotcha.
Lexi.
So when my parents yell at me for leaving my window open in the 3rd floor, I should keep it open to cool my room off?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Put like a candle in your window, but make sure you don't burn down your house.
You would be the one doing that.
You see, 200 years ago, people were careful with candles, but they didn't scare people like they do now. You had houses burned down in Hurricane Sandy, and I'm sure a lot of them burned down because of electrical problems, but I'm sure that a couple burned down because of candles, you know, burning down a house. You don't leave a candle unattended, but people, the Chicago fire in the 19th century, supposedly that was started by a lantern in a barn. I don't know if that's true. Heard that somewhere.
How ironic, though.
But, yeah. So, you got to be careful. But the idea is, yeah, absolutely. The heat's got to go somewhere. You see, if you don't let the heat out, the cool air can't circulate. So you have, where does the air conditioning, you have a floor, you're on the first floor. Now we have air conditioning. We're in the 21st century with air conditioning. Where does the air conditioning vent, where is the air conditioning vent?
The window.
No, not the window. Oh, you mean like a single window unit? Let's say central air conditioning. Where is it?
The ceiling.
It's in the ceiling. Why is it in the ceiling?
Because the heat contracts and it goes, and it's not.
The air goes down, the warm air rises, and you get this convection. Now, how many people have ceiling fans? Right? You have ceiling fans, right? Now, excuse me. Here's the ceiling fan, right? Now, in the summer, how do I have? Do I have the ceiling fan on suck or blow?
Blow.
In the summer. Where's the air conditioning going to go to in the summer? It's going to go by the floor, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to spin this like this, right? So I'm going to,
Suck it.
yeah, I'm going to suck up the air towards the ceiling. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you orientate the blades so the air is flowing towards the ceiling fan. You okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
It's sucking up the air?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Okay. In the winter time, how do you have the blades?
Going down.
Blow, right?
Yeah.
So you're going, and why are you doing it on that? Why are you doing that? Why do you have the air blowing down?
To circulate the hot air.
Yeah, because the hot air is rising and you want it down because it's wintertime, right? You get it? You understand? How many people wear socks or slippers around your house in the winter? And why is that? Why do you wear socks or slippers? But why would your feet be cold if you're in a warm house?
Because the cold
air
at
is
the bottom.
the cold air is like at the bottom. You have this like
I get it now.
6 to 12 inch band of cold air by the floor. It gets cold on the floor, especially on your ground floor. My dog in the summer loves to lay on the hardwood floor with the air conditioning on because it's really chilly on the floor. So you don't waste that energy, you have to pull it up. But anyway, so when you say heating by convection, that's not correct. You are transferring energy by convection. So you can heat by convection or you can cool by convection. Convection is the flow of fluids as a result of density changes within the fluid. So this is cooling or heating by convection?
Cooling.
That's cooling by convection, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Okay. Will a fireplace, when would a fireplace be more efficient? In the summer or in the winter?
Winter.
Oh.
Summer.
Actually, the summer, why? Because the fire is heating the air, correct? And the air is going up the flume, correct? Therefore, what are you getting rid of? You're creating the flow of energy from the room into the chimney, right? So if you open up some windows, you'll draw the cold air in, right? So if you have a chimney, if you have a fireplace up on the 4th floor, that'll really cool the house off because all the air will be sucked into the chimney and out. So a chimney, unless you have special apparatus in the fireplace which can transfer the heat back out of the fireplace, a fireplace can be very inefficient. It's pretty, and it's nice if you're right next to the fireplace, it's nice and hot. But a fireplace can actually be an inefficient way of heating. Clear? Done? Convection. The transfer of energy as a result of changes in the density of fluid, yes or no?
Yes.
So can you have convection in water?
Yes.
Yeah. And you see it oftentimes in the springtime. I'm going to give you a thought problem. Why are lakes really brown in the springtime? Good thought. Yes? Why are they really brown in the springtime? It has to do with convection, but why? What is being convected? And how does the lake become cloudy? Next time.